Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? I would like to confirm that you're hearing me. And second, you're hearing me with quality, not with the crappy microphone that you used a few weeks ago from my computer. I'm seeing four people here, just waiting for your confirmation before for starting. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending of your time zone. Actually, I would like to hear where you, well, actually read, not hear, because loud and clear. Thank you, Jonathan. All right, everyone. My name is Pete, and this is Swift and Tips podcast. Welcome to another episode number 7. Wow, we have been 7, I guess, 14 weeks ago, kind of, or 15, I guess, that we started this journey. And well, I'm pretty excited. I mean, time flies really fast. And this episode will be really interesting, I guess. um, we're going to talk a lot of no code or no Swift or no Xcode in this one. Uh, but you will see this in just a moment. I will say hello to GA. Thank you. Good intro. Yeah, thank you, man. Or, well, I don't know. Uh, I would like to know where you're from. Where are you coming from? I don't know if you're just waking up, because for me is yeah, this is still too early. I would say. Uh, I am, you know, as I explain always, I have two kids, so they are toddlers, so well, they like to destroy the house when they wake up. So yeah, that's good to stay in a quiet time for me. Oh, Mexico. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Love Mexico. Actually, before starting, I have two comments. One is that this episode will be the last one that I will record in US for a few weeks. Not so much weeks. I will be out 3 weeks. Right now, I'm in California, and I will go to Mexico to visit my family. Uh, just for reference, I live in Sonora, in the northwest of Mexico. Uh, Maybe you don't know Sonora at all, but it's like too hot. It's a desert area, and well, I'm just maybe we'll make some random videos about the food, because one of the greatest things to do in Mexico is eating. Is I mean the gastronomy is awesome. So I miss my mom and, and some friends. So yeah, probably I will do a, podcast episode in Mexico, but I don't know where or how, but I will do it. Let's see. Yeah, probably. Just I need a quiet room, right? So, uh, let's see. GA saying no kids, but as an adult, my body betrays me and I get up early. Oh yeah, that's happened to me too. I wake up uh uh without the alarm most of the times, so it's like a symptom to you're getting older. Uh, okay, that was the first thing. So no big deal. Although I will be kind of busy, I will do some paperwork. And but I will try to do my best. So, and that's why I'm making some kind of videos that maybe not so uh, post production videos, but I will want to keep doing content for you. The second thing is before starting is well, in a few days, if you're watching this video in the streaming or uh, in September, what time is it? 9. Okay, September 9th. Yeah, in a few days we will have a new iPhone, the iPhone 15 or whatever they call it. So just a random question: Do you will you buy it? In my case, no. I have the 14 Pro Max, so I think it will stay with me less. 2, 3 more years for sure. So I spent 5 years with this guy here, which is an iPhone X, and it's quite it's pretty good. But the thing is that it's like too old for the standards in the way of performance and other stuff. So and also the capacity is not too much. But just curious about what do you think about it? Okay, so as I said earlier, in this episode we will talk uh, about no code, no macros, no nothing about frameworks. Um, One of the things I wanted to share sometimes with you, but I didn't find the time, is sharing other kind of content, like experience, like tips, because well, the name of the channel is Swift and Tips. That's why I put it there. Um, I think, although I am not the huge expert, I don't know everything like some people could say. Uh, I think I have some experience that I can share with you, regardless of if you're just starting your career or you are an experienced engineer. And also because these couple of years I transitioned to an engineering management position. So I've been in many interviews or interviewing candidates or so, and I think I have some experience to identify things that you need to know before putting in front of an interview, or if you want to level up your career or things like that. So I that's why I'm making this video. I think I have a few things to share with you, and I definitely uh I think will be helpful for you. That's the point of this. um just reading it comes again. Jay saying, I have the iPhone 13 mini. Yeah, nice phone. It is 2 years old, and I want it to last. Okay. It's a great phone, but the battery isn't yet. Yeah, sadly, Apple won't be releasing another mini. Yeah, I actually, I have here a mini actually. Yeah. um, well, it's a work phone, but the thing is that yeah, this phone is awesome. It's so light and it's perfect. The only problem for me is the battery. So even if the Pro Max is not living, I mean, if you make the phone work, it will not last, or it would reach the day, but not so much, no more than that. But this guy is like, charging the battery twice in a day. Is like, no, I cannot live with that. And well, I had to purchase one of those for the big 14 Pro just to uh, grab it better. Uh, yeah, I know. There's those guys are changing the phone, the USB, the lightning port for the USB and things like that. But can anyone think about batteries? I don't know. Let's see what happened. Okay, so let me share my screen. Uh, I will click here. Boom. It's right here. So another thing. Um, a couple of things also before starting this conversation. The first one is that this list is not exhaustive. Okay. So, what I mean is that it could be way more tips for you. Actually, maybe if you decide it, we can bring more tips for you in a coming episode. Um, or even you can share your own tips for everyone. So, that's a great part of the live session, that you can share what you know also. And second, again, I have almost 12 years of experience. So in those 12 years, I definitely have some things to share. um, but again, I am not like tagging me as the success, that representing the word success for you. No, it's just a way to say it, right? Um, I have done mistakes in the past a lot, right? And one of the tips, I try to make it positive, but the thing is that my first idea was just to um, put it in 5 mistakes to avoid. And I put them, I guess, on linking. But the thing is, yeah, all those things are actually mistakes I made in my career, and I share it in the worst way possible, which means making the issues, the errors by myself, right? Instead of watching others to receive those issues and then learn from there. That's the best way to learn, learning from them others' mistakes, not your mistakes. um, and third is that this, although the tips are numerated, that doesn't care. Okay, so the tip number one is not more important than tip number five. Okay, that's that being said, let's get started. Alrighty, let me. So I will have to share to read the. I have the iPad here because I will share this in full screen. Okay, let me see if you can see the full screen. I hope so. No, you are watching for some reason. What about now? Okay. I don't know what happened with this. Oh, there you go. There you go. The, for some reason, the resolution is not great. Uh, okay. I don't think should be a problem. But okay, give me 1 second because for some reason this is not working as expected. Let me let me share my screen here. Oh, okay. I think that's what's the issue. Let me share this again. Okay. That should work, I guess. Yep, I think it's better. Much better. All right. So, okay, let's just get started. 5 tips for a successful software career. Yeah, nice title. And okay, let's get started right away for um, tip number one. And this is um, easy and not too easy, depending of you, depending on many things, depending of your culture, depending of how things works in, I don't know, in your area. But I put it here because this one is like, although it's not more important that again that the number two or five, it is kind of a foundation for your life. Well, the tip number one for you to share is be honest. As simple as that. What I mean by that, when you are in maybe in a early stage in your career, you don't have experience, right? You don't have any source of, hey, I'm a really great engineer, because you're just starting, right? The best case scenario for you, you maybe are undergraduate, or you're just finishing your school, and well, what can I show to everyone, right? And I know there are some people that even before college, they are already doing great projects, right? They are maybe creating websites, they're even making money. Um, and that's awesome. And that will be like a really great way to start to follow up your career or combine it. Because most people think that, oh, okay, I need a college degree, a university degree to be successful in software. No, of course not. Um, but let's be honest, most people will have to, to bluff or show off more because they don't have, or they didn't know or thought that they had to do something, right, to fill up their, sorry, the portfolio. That's the thing. You don't have a portfolio. If that's your case, well, just be honest. Be honest in your resume, right? If you're creating your resume, don't put things that you don't know. I will share something that happened to me years ago. But before, let me grab my coffee. Um, Actually, I will put here the comments. It's better to watch them right here. Alrighty. Okay. I was in an interview. I will not mention companies or most of the time, but I was in a company interviewing, uh, and I remember that I had a great idea to put in my resume, which was, uh, you know, I was like at those times I was a hater of Apple. That's a story for a later episode. um, but in those days, I used to use Linux, um, and I thought, okay, I know Linux, right? Because I just have Ubuntu in my machine, right? I'm a hacker, and I said, okay, why not? I have a few comments in my list in my spreadsheet, and okay, I will add to my resume that I know Linux, right? That would be awesome because people would say, "Oh, this guy knows Linux." That would be really helpful. Guess what? That was like a, you know, an issue. I don't know how to explain it. I have many ways to explain it in Spanish, but not in English. The thing is that was, instead of helping me, it was totally the opposite because the interviewer took my resume, was like, "Oh, you know Linux," but it was just that Linux, the word Linux in the resume, and my answer was, "Yes, I know Linux." And this guy was like super expert of Linux for real. Was like, "Okay, could you tell me about this command?" It was like, "What? No, I don't know what's that." Could you tell me about how kernel works? I was like, "No." Uh, what is a kernel first? No, just kidding. I mean, but I was like, no idea how to explain that. So, I mean, in a technical way, and so on, so on, so on. So he tortured me for a few minutes, just saying, "Okay, if you don't know Linux, why you're putting Linux here?" It was like, oh, um, so embarrassing. It was just an example to me to be extremely carefully with what I put in my resume. I If you're putting something in your resume, remember that your resume is like a way to sell your capabilities, your skills. Can you imagine if you purchase an iPhone, right? And the box says that, oh, uh, this system, well, all the battery. Let's say the battery will last for 1 week of usage. Everyone will say, "Wow, that's amazing!" But guess what? You go home and then you realize that it's not lasting even a half day. How do you feel? Right? Like a fraud, right? Fraud. It's the same, right? Don't do that. So put things that you know, and if you know nothing, put in your resume. I'm just starting my career, and I want to learn ABC. I want to become an engineer or focus on backend systems, or want to become a full stack, or want to become a mobile engineer, want to I'm looking through this for my career. So put your college projects or something interesting. So if you have nothing, I would recommend you right away to start working on something, because that will be a huge leverage for you. If you don't have nothing, will be really complicated. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that you should not put something that you have not done yet. The same with some uh, languages, frameworks. If you it's hard to say how, when is the time to put it. I don't know, it will be at least at some level of uh experience beyond just watching a YouTube video and thinking, "Oh, okay, I know already C++. I will put it in my resume." So because, you know that will bring you some situations. Although again, you need to be the same with skills and also with your commitments. If you're using agile, it's really important to say, okay, do not overcommit. Remember the rule: under commitment, over delivery, right? You can send the same amount of work uh, to someone, or complete the same amount of work, but how you commit to that will make a huge difference. Okay. Okay, let me read the comments. Jay saying, "That's a very that very same happened to me in my first very iteration of my resume. I had listened a new Linux and they start asking me about Linux admin stuff from day on. I removed things I didn't want to get asked about in an interview. Yeah, that's correct. So it's a trade-off. So even I can put I know iOS, and you will be asked about iOS. But the thing is that, for example, for me, if that happened to me, it's like, okay, if someone asks me something that I don't know, also say, I don't know, and especially in interviews, right? Don't try to don't try to make it real, because interviewers are really experienced to that. I can really identify when someone is lying, and when someone is detecting that, you're automatically rejected. Even worse, when you are in a work and someone is like taking maybe 1 week to change a view, and I request explanations about it. If the person is like trying to diverging the answer, or not giving me a clear thing of what you did, where you're stuck or so, it's a red flag. And it's like your reputation is the most valuable thing, and we will talk about that in just coming up tips. Okay, I think the point was really clear here. Let's move on to tip number two. And tip number two is keep learning. I forgot to change the background here, because there was another. Well, I was iterating over this, but okay, I love dogs, so whatever. Keep learning. Yes, the number two. It's obvious, right? But maybe not obvious. Let me explain why. Uh, have you seen this movie, the Dark Knight Rising? It's a great movie. I love it. Not just that one, of course. The whole trilogy of Christopher Nolan. Well, if you haven't watched it yet, I strongly recommend you to watch it this weekend. Uh, if you haven't, if you already see it, watch it. Great, because here is one quote from this villain, Bane, that is really true. It's really like life itself. Victory has defeated you. What happened in this? I don't want to spoil you, but I will have to. Sorry. Um. So years ago, I mean, it has passed many years since Bruce Wayne is Batman, and something happened, and then those guys are fighting. But the problem is that uh, Bruce Wayne didn't train after a few years, after many years. He was just drinking wine in his mansion, right? He was just in a comfort zone, saying, "Oh, okay, whatever, right? I'm strong." But guess what? Someone stronger than him came to kick his ass, and that could happen to you. Why? It's simple. When you are applying for a project, for a job, for example, you are studying algorithms, the frameworks you're working on, so on, so on. You got the job, And then what is the first thing you do? Relaxing, right? That's not wrong. But the problem is relaxing for weeks, for months, for years, thinking that, okay, I don't need to do anything else anymore. I got a job, right? And maybe you're keeping doing your job great. But the thing is, the technologies, the software is always changing. The nature of the software is always changing. Remember that all the time when you are coding. When you're coding, it's like, I will put this, I will make this not this garbage code because whatever. Well, that garbage code eventually will change, and you will have to fix it, or even worse, someone else will have to fix your mess. But also, that means you need to adapt to new technologies. You need to be aware of what is coming up with Swift, what is coming up with iOS, what is coming up with cloud, what is coming up with technologies for CI/CD, what is coming up for AI nowadays more than ever. You need to be aware. You need to still learning. You need to make your best to be in a uh, do, doing great your job. But at the same time, don't stuck in that job in a way of just doing your job thinking that you will learn enough for that. That's not the right thing. I've been I will tell you something. In my career, I used to work in a company, not like a big tech, that happened later, but it was like one of the most important companies in the world, I would say. um, so I started my career as an intern, and then I move on to a full time employee. I spent 4 years there. Those 4 years, the first 4 years in my career, were like really comfort zone, really, uh, doing not doing the minimum. But the thing is that I was just doing my job, and eventually I got that I realized that my colleagues were okay. Those guys are getting better jobs. Those guys know more than me. What's going on with me? Am I a fraud? Am I a not capable for doing my job, or learning things? The thing is, was just that I was not doing anything else. I was not having side projects. I was not even reading or watching YouTube videos, or even taking extra courses or something like that. And that I had to pay the bill for that. Uh, and if it's your case, the good news is that it is not the end of the world. It's just a matter of time to fix that. And I will put this, I love to bring in this when I talk about this, which is Atomic Habits. Have you read about it? Let me make a pause to read the comments. Rahim is saying lead code is best, is best, or I mean, lead code is great for uh, coding challenges, or coding interviews, but it is not enough for the rest of your skills you need to learn for an interview. Ah, okay, so the thing with this, and I really love this, because if you if you decide to not to do anything else, not to invest your time in something to construct your career, what will happen? Maybe in one day will not happen nothing, right? But over a year, you will see the difference. If you choose that path, your performance or your knowledge will decrease. And what happens with the opposite? If you do 1% better every day, that means that you don't have to build something to build something in 1 year. You don't have to learn, I don't know, structural concurrency in one day, right? But you maybe start learning one day a few minutes in the day, and then next day another few minutes, and so on, so on, so on. Eventually, the sum of those learnings of that job will make you exponentially better than the same that yourself last year. That's totally true. Please, if you needed to just grab one little thing for your whole life from this conversation, please take this one. I will say that concept of atomic habits changed my life forever. Before learning this, I was like in a mood of, meh, I'm doing my job and I'm great. But the thing is, again, software industry is like that. If you don't like to learn something beyond your job, you will have serious issues. To be honest, there's no magic rule for that. It's as it is. It's just that has the software is evolving. So we need to be adapt to those changes, and you need to be to increase. And this is not only working for your career. This will work for all the things you are doing your whole life. If you're not doing exercise, the same. You will get fat in 1 year. You will lose stamina or power, strength. If you do exercise, if you go to the gym in 1 year, you will change. You will see the difference. It's that simple. But I know it requires dedication, discipline. Discipline is the word. So, by the way, I'm leaving a few links for you, great links for you in the description, just for you to watch it later. Also, regarding to this, I would like to show to you the rule, the 7th 20 10 rule. What that means. This is just a way to manage, it's a framework to manage your learning. Okay. And I'm using this in my current job, for example. What is this? That you need to spend 10% on courses, reading, or watching tutorials. 10%, not 100%, like like some people is doing, just watching Udemy courses or YouTube videos, and okay, I'm ready for that interview. I'm ready for doing that job. It's what it is. And remember, I'm not blaming anyone. All the things I'm talking here are from my experience and my mistakes. Yeah, I don't have anything with courses. I have my YouTube channel to talk about to talk about things that I'm learning. But the thing is that it's just a 10%. Then the 20% is from other people. We will see that in a moment. Mentorship is another great tool, showing your work with others. But we'll see that in a moment. And what is the 70%? Doing the job, coding, reading. If you want to make a better speaker, speak to others. Raise your hand when someone needs to a volunteer for a presentation. Excuse me. Excuse me. That was unexpected. Excuse me. Yeah, 17% of your learning should be doing. If you want to learn something, you have to do it yourself. I will share with you how I am doing my own stuff. When for example, in this couple of weeks, I've been working in uh, reading and learning about Swift macros. When I watched the Top of DC, I didn't understand anything. To be honest, I had to watch the many times the video, and then I decided, okay, this is not working. I need to move forward with something else. Let me do my own crappy implementation of a Swift macro, and then I start doing. And then I made it. I made another progress. I made another progress. I made another progress, and it was like, okay, I'm getting the point. But I am realizing that my code is not great. Let me watch again the Top of DC series, uh, and then once I watch it again with my experience doing the macros, I that totally changed my perspective of how Swift macros work, because I got the context by doing it. And then I realized, oh, I know this will be better if I do it in this way. And then I refactor my code, I created my test, etc., etc. I also talked with other people in forums in other platforms saying, hey, uh, what is this? What do you think about it? And was like, oh, okay, that's good. You can make this other change in your code, or you can apply this, etc. So, but most of the time was just doing the job. If you want to really become a master of something and learning, I would suggest, if you don't have any framework or something, try to apply this, the rule 70-20-10, and will change your life. Lastly, for this one, I would like to leave this um, quote for someone in on internet: stay hungry, stay foolish. It's not better way to summarize all that we had talked, that you always need to learn. This will be a never ending learning process. But the cool thing is that you don't have to learn everything. You just need to do your best every day. And do not compare against others. Compare only against yourself. That's also another key thing to you to learn. All right, let's move on with tip number 3. Tip number 3 is find a mentor. I already talked about it in the previous tip, but finding a mentor is something that will make to explore or guide you and empower you faster than doing it by yourself. Why? Simple, because you can right away avoid mistakes that you'll have to face. When you face issues by yourself, um, you for sure will learn for that, but you will waste a lot of time, because it's like you to watching to exploring the sea. You don't know where you are, right? You need to find a land. But the thing is that if you are in the sea, random sea, you don't know where's the north, where the south, right? The mentor is like a compass for you to guide you in the right direction, and that will save you a lot of time. Maybe you think there's no mentors in your work, in your job. You can find a community out there. There are many iOS communities out there, in case of iOS or other technologies. It's for sure. You just need to Google it, and you will find someone ready to help you. And that person shouldn't be someone like I don't know, the best guy in the building. Maybe someone that has, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ahead of you could be enough, just because could be someone with more context or more perspectives in your own situation right now. Because sometimes if you try to find a mentor, there is, I don't know, 20, 30 years of experience already. And you have just 2 years of experience, maybe the context will be totally different. So instead of just maybe being in talking with a senior dev that maybe has 5 years of experience, 6 years of experience, could be like a better perspective for you to keep learning. But it is also great to hear from other guys that are experienced developers that have 20, 30, or more years of experience. That helped me a lot to when I stay in my first job for 4 years, I started learning um, iOS, Objective C at that time. And then it was like doing just basic screens or showing stuff as really not so professional until I got a mentor in my next job, and this guy trained me to become an iOS developer. And I really thank this guy. It was a pretty intensive training. But this guy was like, oh, okay, no, don't do this, don't do this. So just follow this line, follow this path, and you will find what you need to start. And the thing, I think I started learning iOS in 2012, and for, yeah, 2012. Yeah, see, I guess was 2012 or 2013. I don't remember. But the thing is that in 3 4 years of learning by myself, I didn't. I guess I got less than just 6 months or intensive mentorship for someone that really knows how to do things. Do you know the difference? I, in this perspective, that was my first, my second job. Actually, it's a company that does not exist anymore. But if you are living in Mexico, probably you know this company already. um, but it was like 6 months of full preparation. It was like, oh, okay, I become uh, 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 I would say a real iOS developer, but I would say like mm, uh, an iOS developer with more skills to face the issues that coming up, right? And well, that's a huge difference of why having a mentor in your life will be really important. Let me read the comments. No more comments. Okay, let's move on with tip number 4. Remember, if you have any question, please leave it in the comments. Okay, tip number 4 for your career. In this one, the last two are really interesting. This one is something that I learned, mm, not recently, but not in my first years of career, which is make an impact. Okay, making an impact is this is more about that. Once you move forward, what you need to learn about in terms of technologies or things, you need to understand one important thing. the, we are doing code, we are doing our work for helping people to provide a service, and at the end of this capitalism world, to make money. It's as simple as that. I'm saying this because in some situations I've been myself or experienced from others that they don't understand this. And what happened is that you are just uh, putting yourself in the way of just thinking about your work, your code, right? Your code, like your son, like your baby, right? It's like, oh, my little piece of code. And I don't want to make any change because I love it. I make a great effort to make that code, right? Or, excuse me, or making uh, uh I lost the track what I was trying to say. Uh, Sorry, I lost the track. I was talking about yeah, the code. Sorry. You are like really focused on just your code, and you don't want to touch it. You don't want to. It's your baby, but the code is just code. We are here to change people's life. You think that in some way or another. You could say, "Oh man, but I just work in a company where we are just delivering food to someone. How can uh, change the life of someone? Well, you're feeding someone in some way, right? You are saving the time for someone to, instead of getting the car, driving until, I don't know, X number of miles of kilometers to get the food or whatever, and then come back or so. You are making that person productive because you, with just uh, a touch, uh, this person is getting food. You can see that in many ways. You maybe are working in a social network app. You maybe are working in other kind of things to providing financial services, etc. So the point is that in some way you are changing, you are improving people's life with a product or with a service. And you need to remember that. Um, I remember exactly what I was trying to say. Some people, when they had their code, they don't think that, okay, maybe changing this or dropping this service or this piece of code will increase the performance of the product or will make it better. And that's the way how you make impact. It's that simple. Um, if you think in the way how your business or the companies you are is doing their job, well, think about how can I reduce cost on um, that company, or how can my work, not my code, my work can make a difference here. Because to be honest, anyone can code in some way or another. Don't confuse that, right? But the thing is that not everyone is capable to understand the business needs. And if you think about it, you will make a huge impact in what you are doing, regardless of the business nature. That's the point of what I try to put on this. In summary, with the impact. Let me just read a comment here. By the way, GA is thank you for what you all the comments you're putting here. Um, it says it was something that I also wish I could learn early in my career. First argument to support is that it makes your work worth work. Second is that if you want to grow in a company, you need to prove your work has impact. Yep, totally agree. Then we have Tissin. How much of a skills have you learned to feel that you are ready to apply for a job? Heh, good question. Well, the TLDR is that depending, if you watch an job application online or whatever, I mean that the level of requirements or years of experience, it's just a way to put something right to give you a context of what you need to do there and what are the skills you need. My first tip for you is that do not think that you are ready enough. When you are applying for a job, you are never ready enough to fit that position. No one, no one. If there is someone, it that is like, uh, how can I explain it? This it's too complicated. It's like reading minds because each company has their own way to make things. Even if they are following uh, agile, they are doing agiles in their own way. There's no like the absolutely mandatory that everyone will do this in this way. So every company will adapt to what they need. And that means if you're working in company A and then you want to apply for a job in company B, well, that company B, even though that maybe the jobs are similar, um, yeah, there will be some differences and there's skills that maybe you don't know, you don't have, right? But maybe the foundation of that job, it's matching what you got already. But even though, I will suggest that don't hesitate to apply for a job. What I will say is that always try to even if you're not looking for a job, try to apply for it, because interview skills are another thing, another topic that we can discuss later, but are a different skills of your job skills and your learning skills. It's another set of tools that you need, and it's what it is. You need to how you will be prepared, like we said in the 7-20-10 rule. You need to apply, you need to learn from your mistakes, and eventually, this is something I heard for someone this week, that he was applying to X number of companies until some point that he started enjoying the interview process instead of just being so nervous. So I don't know nothing. It was like it's like a casual conversation, and that's cool. But that only will happen if you take the time to apply in an interview to start figuring out the patterns. Okay, this kind of questions will come, because you can grab, oh, okay, what are the 1,000 or 10,000 common questions in an iOS interview. You can grab that and you can read them. But to be honest, that's just complimentary. Again, that will be just a 10% of your learning process. The doing process, the most part is apply for a job, feel it, feel awkward the first time, and then the second time will be so awkward. The third time will be not too bad, and so on, so on, so on, until you reach out that, hmm, I'm doing great here. And do not stop interviewing. Maybe you will not actively doing 3 interviews per day, but maybe at least every 6 months or something, just to stay in the line of how is the market requesting right now. That's how I will say. So, uh, even though if you don't have the capabilities for that, but if you're not looking for a job, you can apply, and you will learn something for sure for that interview. Okay, I will move forward with what is coming, but will be shorter. Part of making impact, it's also showing your work. It's a great book, by the way. Showing your work is, um, some way of how you create a reputation. Part of your of showing your impact or making your impact is that people understand that you are doing great job, and the way you will do it starts from a daily stand-up. For example, when you're just doing crappy updates, like, hey, yesterday I was working on ticket X, and today I will work on ticket X again. That's it, no update. When you do something like that, it's like, what? It's like no value for anyone. It's like, hey, yesterday I fixed this issue. I figured out that the function A was not working well, and I had to implement this uh, configuration B, etc. So, um, be explicit what you need to do in what you're doing with your status. Show progress to everyone. That will make you uh, to everyone realize that, okay, this guy is doing a great job. He's always communicating. It's part of the communication skills. Uh, excuse me. Remember one thing here. Is really important. Over communication is way better than under communication. No one will say, "Oh, this guy is talking a lot about work, about her status." It's annoying. Nobody in my life, in 12 years of experience, nobody has that. Never. But in the opposite, it's like, what is this guy doing? He hasn't reported anything meaningful in a few days. It is stuck. It is just sleeping at work. Yeah, those questions are coming. And It's as simple as always showing what you're doing. That's just in your job site. Also, uh, going back to side projects or things like that, you don't have to show things ready. For example, in my case, and that I'm doing content on platforms. Um, I recently, as I said before, I'm working in a Swift macro called Sample Builder to generate uh, data for you. So in case if you want to, I don't know, using for unit test or maybe creating a preview list in Swift UI, you can create with just one simple attached macro, you can generate a list of data for free. Okay. So instead of just, I will show this to everyone once it's ready, I put it right away, say, okay, this is what I want to do. And then next day it's like, okay, I did this improvement. The next day was, I did another improvement. Then next day is like, oh, I faced this issue. I will try to fix it. Then the next day is like, oh, I fix it, and I will show you how. Do you notice the difference? I, I'm bringing values this way. I'm not suggesting that you should do a YouTube channel or Twitter or whatever. But if you want, I mean, it's a great way to show your work. But you can also share your experience by creating a post on Medium, creating something on LinkedIn. There are many ways to express yourself about your work. But the thing is that generate a reputation of that you are a great collaborator in your work, and your life will change. You will learn not only code, you will learn more about other soft skills like communication, for example. And well, this is just a proof of me. When started 3 years ago, this was the first of the videos I made. And by the way, I have a here. Oh, how can I explain? I don't know. I don't know why the mouse is not working. But anyway, um, I also have well, I used to have a podcast in Spanish for Latin America or Spanish speakers. Um, but started before Swift and Tips. Then I move on to Swift and Tips, thinking that okay, I maybe need to expand to a larger audience. But the thing is that I always learn from. I just show my mistakes and things, and you can do that also. You can just express. There are many ways to express. You can just have, instead of maybe tweeting your Starbucks coffee, you can maybe share with someone value about, okay, today I learned that, I don't know, you can crash your app if you do this and this. Maybe you can you uh, can do better than me if you try to avoid ABC. So there are many ways to do it. And finally, tip number 5. This is, it's not the most important, but it's my favorite. Find your passion. I will not make it super deep here, but if you want it, just leave it in the comments if you want a session dedicated for this one or any of the topics we already talked. What that means. Uh, I put it here in the left side, a graph of a concept called ikigai. Ikigai is a Japanese concept that TLDR is just to find your reason for being. It's like a philosophical way. Uh, but it's really interesting. And as an engineering manager, I applied this for my direct reports for my team. And it's awesome to learn why people are doing things. And this form, how this works. So you have 4 circles. Each circle represents like a context of your life. For example, things that you love, things that you love to do. I don't know, maybe you play football. not football, well, soccer or whatever you call it. Uh, you maybe love video games, right? You love to play Mario, but there are other things that you are good at. Maybe you are good in games, or for example, you maybe love games, but like me, I'm not good at video games. If someone is trying to kick my ass, I will do it. No, without any problem, right? I'm not good at video games, for example, but I love them. But good at could means, for example, at sports or even, for example, coding. There are guys or people that make it great at coding or make it great in other techniques, for example, art. They're painting and they're awesome. There are also things what you can do to receive money or to be paid for. Okay, your job, of course, is one of those, right? um, but maybe you're figuring out something. Maybe you can receive or you can be paid for your job, but maybe you're not good at, or maybe you're not loving it at all. It's not necessarily connected. And the fourth one is what the world's need. What the world's need is that, okay, my point, my reason for being is attached to this, right? This is more the most common ways is just, for example, helping people, maybe homeless, or helping someone in hospitals, etc. So social labors, but also maybe you're doing a project to sell, to say save people's life in some way or improve his life, etc. So, but the thing is, like, this is more attached to a mission for you in your life. Okay. And what happened if you are doing an activity, you maybe you will figure out if one or two or more of circles are connected. For example, if you are, let's say, if you're good at video games and you love the video games, that's your passion. Hmm, that's simple. If you're good at coding and you receive a paid for it, that's your profession because you have some skills for that, right? Um, for example, maybe you love to help people homeless. For example, you bring food to them, or you help charity or make donations. You love that, and you think that that's what people needs. Well, that's your mission. Okay. and and the same, for example, for paid. I don't know, maybe uh let's say one example. You are taking in a Christian band, and maybe you receive a pay for it, and maybe that's what you think the wars need. Okay, maybe just that's your vocation, right? So what is the point of ikigai? The point of ikigai is that that thing that you are doing is connected with the four circles. It's not too easy to find it. Okay, just let put it that way. Most of the time you will connect three of them, but the fourth one maybe is not connected. It's just a matter of time to find it. But that's how, if you find the ikigai, that's what your reason for being, and then that must be your path to follow. I'm seeing questions, no question. So I leave a video in the description about it that you can follow, and well, explains more about this. But I'm trying to follow this, and before this, I didn't realize exactly what was my passion. Once I got it, well, one of the things I'm doing right now on sharing content is that I love it. I love to speak with you. I love to share my updates on platforms because I think I help people, right? And well, that connects to what the world need. Maybe it's not in the way of just doing Swift because okay, this is what everyone needs Swift in their lives. Maybe, but the thing is that I'm using it for helping uh, others that maybe are getting complicated issues understanding some concepts. What my mission in this case is helping them. Maybe if you're having issues with understanding generics, well, I created a playlist in my channel for that to make it accessible for everyone. That's just an example. Uh, Good at it. Well, just being good at it is a matter of time, right? Um, but I've been in this again, almost 10 years of iOS, for example, and recently in this content mm, creation skill, or I don't know how to industry, let's call it. Well, I've been in a couple of years already, so I don't feel that I'm the expert, but I consider I'm good at it. I've survived all those days, all those years. So well, I consider that I'm good and I can provide value for you. And well, I'm, for example, right now nobody's paying me for that, at least in the content in the content side. Um, but I'm connecting all of this with my job, for example, and my job is as an engineering manager. Also, I got the pay to pay my bills and also to make this content for you. So I have the time for to doing this, and well, um, at the end, I am combining all those things, and I will say I'm close to the ikigai, although this is an iteration, and maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but the thing is, I will leave it to you to find your own passion. That brings you sometimes to make decisions, and I will end with this. Um, Maybe sometimes you will decide when you are in a job that you love it, but there is another job that is paying you way more, but you are not going to do something that is meaningful to you, that is passion for you. Or maybe it's not about the money, it's maybe about your reputation, because you think, okay, yeah, I'm working in company A, but if I go to company B, well, that will increase my reputation, because the company B is one of the best companies in the world. It's up to you to decide this. Sometimes you will need to take the wrong direction until to realize that the previous path was best for you. And it happened to me in some way. And I realized that, well, I I definitely feel that what I'm doing, for example, from right now in my work, is meaningful for me. Just to give you a context, I am working in a company to manage that device that this little girl is um, having in their arm, to manage insulin to patients with diabetes type 1. So it's for me like, wow, it's a lot of work, but that work is like uh, rewardable, not only in money, but in many ways that I cannot explain. It's like, wow, I feel that every line of code generated, every decision made is helping people. It's complicated to reach that kind of projects like this one. This one is like serious. Uh, I don't know, helping people for real in some way, in the normal definition of helping people. Uh, but well, that's why I could share with you 5 tips to be to sorry, 5 tips for a successful career. I think in some way I got a successful career, but it is not ending yet. I have more to do yet. So thanks for being here. Well, questions before closing the session. Eh, Questions. I would like to hear your question. Well, to read your questions. Uh, GA saying, great mission. Yeah, I think so. Thank you. Great video. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all your comments. Uh, Johnstone is saying, should a technical lead write code? Yeah. I mean, the short answer is yes, but maybe not full day because the tech lead should have many more responsibilities than just coding. And he needs to work, well, she needs to work side by side with managers and other stakeholders. So, but yeah, technically speaking, yeah, in some way, maybe in coding things that will impact a larger audience than just one your that maybe just your team in some way. I hope that make that answer your question. Sorry. Uh, GA saying, what is a challenge that you wish to accomplish in a few years regarding your work? What is a challenge that you wish to accomplish in a few years regarding your work? A challenge. I have not about it. Maybe I, I would say this, but maybe it's not like I don't know if this is what most people will expect, but I do love the engineering manager path, but I don't know how much I will be in the way because normally this path will bring you to becoming a director, a BB, or so. But for me, it's like I would like to be in the more. Um, let me let me put it this way: I love to work with people, uh, but I don't know if that will be like forever in my career because the technical path I'm doing those content creation because I love the technical path. I don't love to be like just in the shadow, right? And in the coding side. But of course, I know that there are other levels like staff engineers or tech leads, like someone mentioned here. But the thing is, I don't know. I just exploring this role right now, and I don't know yet if it will be. It's a challenge for me to decide if this will be like a long road for me to get it. But what I'm doing now and short and mid term is looking great. So definitely there is more to explore here, and I have learned a lot regarding people. Regarding, I will say something: managing people is way more complicated than managing code, regardless of the architecture, everything. Yeah, uh, give you a lot of skills to life. All right, thank you, Jenston. Um, and yeah, if you want more tips, I actually I will leave the comments for you to also say, okay, maybe we need this tip here. I will say that this tip will also be important for your life or so. I know this list was not exhaustive, but I will leave it up to you. And maybe if there are more, we can discuss more tips in a coming episode. What do you think? Let me read again. Johnstone saying, how do you get to balance between family, work, personal learning, and other life activities? Good question. With atomic habits, that's the question. It's complicated, especially I have two kids, and they are uh, young kids, so they need a lot of attention. Also, I cannot just be in um, fully working on my stuff and leaving my wife to do the rest because that's not fair, right? I need to execute my uh, paternity, and well, I need to teach them how things work, right? I need to play with them. They are humans, right? They need their father to be with them. So I just try to balance. And I think is that the more important thing for me is family, right? Other than work or other than uh, the YouTube or things. So I always give priority to them. That's why sometimes I'm not tweeting or something because, well, I didn't get time to be here, right? Like last week, for example, that we spent time on for the Labor Day holiday, and the thing is that I just dedicate honestly a few minutes to work on YouTube and social media because it's what it is. I don't have more time in my life, and sometimes in my day, sorry. And but the thing is that I'm doing something, and you will see that the graph, the chart is coming up, right? And that's the thing. There's no magic rule to say, okay, I have this day 5 hours to work on what I want. No, I also need to attend other activities like pay taxes or figuring out things or go to doctor appointments, etc. So, well, I try to distribute my work in the best way possible. And sometimes I had to delay things that are not super important. Mm. It's complicated, but if you again, the thing is having skills or tools for you to distribute the work and doing small progress. And more important, because this is something that I learned later in my life, and I would like to learn it much earlier. Do not compare against others. Comparing against another guy that maybe is single and has a way to work 12 hours or something and be super strong and got promoted faster than me, okay, great for him. But the problem is that I have my own context, my own ways to live my life. I'm happy with that. And but that person has their own things to do. And I cannot compare against that. So maybe that person has more time for making content on YouTube or so. That's great. So, but I have my own way to do things. It's what it is. And you have to learn to enjoy the process. That's why I can close that question for that. GA is all saying you like to be hands-on. Me too, to be honest. But I understand what you said about exploring the things you can do in a company. Yeah. Uh, is doing is the most important thing. There are no matter how many videos are you're watching on YouTube or so to think that you learn, you need to do things, right? If the best way to learn an architecture is making an app, maybe you don't have an idea, but of okay, I need to make the best app. No, just grab one idea. Just try to copy a Twitter. Just try to copy a WhatsApp. Just try to copy YouTube app and try to do your best to learn. Okay, how to reproduce to play videos on YouTube, how to make a tweet, how to make a web service, what to do things, and you will do the crappy code. But eventually, you will get an idea. And say, hey, I noticed this issue. Oh, guess what? Let's do an app. Let's try to do an app or try to a proof of concept or things like that. So it's how things you can work for you outside of your job. But in terms of your job, I always encourage people to say, "Hey, we are doing things in this way. That will not be forever. Let's explore." Especially when I talk with tech leads in my team, it's like let's explore. Just answering your question for someone in about tech leads. I'm seeing tech leads like the explorers. I don't know if you play a game called Age of Empires. In that game, you start in the middle of the map, and everything around is black. It's undiscovered, and then you need to send someone to find out something outside. And once that person is walking, the map is becoming is not becoming dark. Is open it, and then all that road is now visible for you, and then you need to explore more. And guess what, there are maybe other guys that are fighting with you or they're pretending to destroy your base. So I'm seeing tech leads like that way too. They need to explore and find what other problems are around that we cannot see yet, and we need to prepare, right? Or improvements, or maybe we're in a bottleneck when we are not uh, doing our code review process well. Okay, do we have any process? No. Okay, let's establish a code review process with ABC for everyone. Then once a new hire comes to our project, they will know already. Okay, those are the rules for everyone, and this is again a never-ending iteration. That's that's a really cool way to see life. Never-ending learning process. And lastly, Jason, comparison is the thief of joy. Yeah, yeah. Don't do that. Never. Just compare against yourself. Yourself. If you're not strong in iOS, and I'm will talk about iOS because it's what most of the audience is here. Yeah, you maybe you will first off you will need to understand in which context. Maybe you don't know core data. You don't know Swift UI way because you are getting stuck in your job with UI kit or so. Okay, let's play together a little bit. It's just a matter of time that you become strong in one technology. The same applies with, oh, I'm too shy to speak up. I'm really having challenges, struggles to communicate because I think nobody will respond in a positively to what I want to say. Uh, that involves another episode, I guess. But yeah, maybe you have imposter syndrome, for example, and that's something that maybe we should talk later. That will be another thing to discuss. But there are tools. Um, there are videos. There are therapy for that. The thing is that it's always against you. Your worst enemy is yourself. Self sabotaging is not a thing you should do. You always need to think that you are capable to do things, but it's just a matter of time to make it better. Sounds good. All right. So, well, that's about it, everyone. So, I really appreciate your time, and I hope this video that is different from the normal content with Swift and iOS in general. But well, I will, if you want it, I will bring more content like that for especially for the podcast episode. So, if you like the video, don't forget to subscribe and share this content with your friends that maybe requires tips for a successful software career. That's it for me. Thank you so much and have a great day.